Know that we organize our blueprint code and some variables. From now on, we will use macros, collapse nodes, and functions to make our codes organized. But before doing that, I want to tell you something. When you are using a collapse node, it's just like putting that nodes out there. Okay, it's just collapsing them, so it won't have any impact on your optimization. With macro it is the same, but with the functions it may slow down your process a little bit, just a little bit. It's called overhead. So always try to use collapse node, and if you can't do it with collapse node, do it with macros. And in that time, if you couldn't do it with the macros, do it with functions, but try to avoid functions. At some point we need functions for sure. So next thing that I'm going to show you, I'm going to show you some options. I always told you that you should play with all the settings that in detail panel you can see. You can play with them, you can hover over them, so it will tell you what those are. And as you know, Unreal Engine does have a lot of tools with a lot of options. And if I want to tell you all the options out there, it will take like 1,000 hours, right? So first of all, how we can approach these options. For example, you see something in your game, for example this one, and you want to change it. You search it on documentation, you search it on YouTube, you search it on Google, and maybe you find something. But for gaining some experience, you can just click on all of these, doesn't matter which one. It will give you a lot of options, and if you have time, just play with them, hover over them. It will tell you what they are doing, and most of them are self-explanatory. And if you don't understand any of them, just search it on internet. There will be documentation about it, there will be video on YouTube about it, there will be something in forums always, right? So for example, in here you can see I can go right and go left, and my character is sliding to the right and left, and I don't want that. First way, because I play with these details panel a lot, I know what I should do. For example, if I go to event graph, you see with the mouse we can go right, left, up and down, right? In here, in look around, right? So with that we can go right, go left and right, and our mesh and our character is going with that, and we don't need that. First of all, what I'm going to do, I'm going to our camera, and in here search for rotation. And you remember, by unchecking this use pawn control rotation on the camera, we don't have that effect that we can go up and down. If we click on it again, if I want to show you, you can see the camera is going up and down, and I don't need that, right? So I don't need this up and down of our camera. But let's just disable that. We have this option, use pawn control rotation. If I hover over it, it will tell us what it will do. What I need to do is, if I click on our spring arm, you can see I need this spring arm to go around our character and go up and down, not the camera, right? So in a spring arm, if we search for rot or rotation, you can see there is a use pawn control rotation in here as well. Let's just click on that and compile and run to see what will happen. We can go to right, we can go to left, we can up and down, and everything is working fine. And no, our camera is not rotating with our mouse. It's our spring arm that it's rotating with our mouse, right? So this is the first problem that we solve. Next one, I don't want our character to slide to the left and right. That's not what in AAA game happening, right? For example, I was playing Plague Tale, the new one, and what it happened in there, when we play with our mouse, it won't slide our character like this, and I don't want that. So where we should click on that? First of all, you can click on mesh and search for rot, and nothing in there, right? If we go to character movement, because every movement that you can see in here is happening with our character movement. We use that character movement to move our character, to run, to walk, right? So if we click on it and search for rot or rotation, you can see it give us some option that, for example, orient rotation to movement. Right now it's false. If we enable it, let's see what will happen. No, if we go to right and left, again it's doing that. It is sliding over the plane, and we don't want that. So again, let's just go here, disable this, and there is another thing, use controller desired rotation. Let's just check that. Of course, we can hover over it to see what it says. No, if I go to left and right, again, it's not working fine for us. So these are not the option that we want. No, what we can select on to see if there is an option for not sliding over the plane. Let's just click on our blueprint class and search for rot again. You can see there are some options in here, and the option that is true by default is use controller rotation yaw, and if you hover over it, it will tell you what it will do. So let's just uncheck that and compile and run our game again. Now you can see it's like Plague Tale and Gears of War, right? We can go around our character. It's cool, right? But there is a problem. Right now, if we go forward and change the spring arm rotation like this, again, it's going this way, but we want to go where the camera is looking at, right? So it's going forward now, and it's not working fine. So what we can do about that? If you go to our event graph, go down, and you can see for going forward and backward, we use these nodes, okay? And we use the capsule component forward vector. Now we can use the camera forward vector. So let's just get the camera, put it in here, okay, and delete that capsule. Now we want to get the forward vector from our camera. Now with the camera we say which direction it should walk, right? So let's just do it for right vector as well. Delete this capsule and change it to camera, connect it here. And now if we compile and run our game, now you can see I'm going around our character with mouse, it works fine. And if we go to this side and hit W on our keyboard, you can see it going that way. Do you see any problem in here? We can't go to right. It's strafing to right, but it's not going to the right, okay? So what we can do about that? Now it's time to go to our movement and search for rot. What we can do? You can see there are some options here, and I wanna change the option of orient rotation to movement. Just check these and compile and run. Now if I go forward, it is okay. If we go right, you can see it is okay. If I go to the right and left when we are at the idle, it will go around our character. But if we go in this side and hit W, you can see it will orient itself to the camera forward direction, and it will go that way. You can see if I want to go back, you can see it's working fine. On idle, we can go around our character And if we go on one side and we want to go through that side, walk through that side, we can hit W and it will go forward. Let me wrap up to see what we did. First of all, we get the forward vector and right vector from the camera, and we walk, we add movement alongside those forward and right vector, right? Next, we did go to character movement and change the orient rotation to movement. So wherever we are moving, we orient our mesh or our character to that movement. Next, we did go to camera and we disable use pawn control rotation because we don't want to rotate our camera. For example, this is our character and this is our camera. We want to go like this around our character, right? We don't want to do this, right? We don't want to do this. We want to do this. So we disable the use pawn control rotation on our camera, but enable the use pawn control rotation on our spring arm, okay? No, the spring arm is rotating, not the camera, right? The spring arm is rotating, not the camera. Next, we did go to our blueprint, and in here tell it to not use pitch, yaw, and roll of our controller for this blueprint class, so we can control it with character movement. So that was what we did. If you search it on Google, it will tell you the same. If you search it on YouTube, it will tell you the same. If you go to the documentation, again, it will tell you to do this exact thing.